What if everything you were ever told about aging was wrong? What if getting older wasn't actually inevitable, and nature had already figured out how to stop it entirely? Scientists have been chasing the secret to immortality for centuries. Kings paid fortunes for it. Legends were built around it. And for the longest time, everyone assumed it was pure fantasy. But then researchers pulled something out of the ocean that made them stop and stare. A tiny, almost invisible creature. No brain, no bones, smaller than a fingernail. And it simply does not age, not slowly, not gracefully. It literally reverses its own aging process and starts over, completely. Like pressing rewind on a biological clock that the rest of us can't even find. This is not science fiction. This is not a theory. This is happening right now in oceans all over the world, and scientists believe it could change the future of human medicine forever. The creature is called Turritopsis dohrnii. Most people have never heard of it. It looks completely unremarkable, a tiny jellyfish, barely a few millimeters wide, almost transparent, drifting silently through the sea. You could swim right past thousands of them and never notice. But what this jellyfish does on a biological level is so extraordinary that when scientists first observed it, many of them refused to believe what they were seeing. Here is what happens. When this jellyfish gets old, sick, or injured, instead of dying, it does something no other animal on Earth does naturally. It reverts. Its cells transform backwards. Adult cells that were already fully developed, muscle cells, nerve cells, digestive cells, completely change their identity and turn back into young, unspecialized cells. The jellyfish essentially melts back down into its earliest juvenile form and begins its entire life cycle again from scratch, fresh, new, fully reset. Scientists call this process transdifferentiation, and it is, by every biological definition, the reversal of aging, not a slowdown, not a pause, an actual reversal. The jellyfish does not have a maximum lifespan. Left undisturbed, with no predators and no disease, it could theoretically repeat this cycle forever. But Turritopsis dohrnii is not alone in defying what we thought were the unbreakable rules of aging. Nature, it turns out, has been quietly breaking those rules for millions of years. Take the Hydra. It is a tiny freshwater creature, related distantly to jellyfish, and it has no brain, no heart, and no detectable aging process whatsoever. Scientists have studied hydras in labs for decades and found that their cells divide so efficiently and so cleanly that they show virtually no signs of biological aging at all. A hydra alive today looks and functions identically to one that was alive 50 years ago. Researchers have called it functionally immortal. Then there is the Greenland shark. This enormous, slow-moving predator of the Arctic Ocean lives in near total darkness and extreme cold, and it lives for an almost unbelievable amount of time. Scientists carbon-dated one specimen and discovered it was approximately 400 years old. 400. That means this shark was alive before the invention of the telescope, before Isaac Newton was born. It was already ancient when the Mayflower crossed the Atlantic, and it was still swimming, still hunting, still alive. The naked mole rat rounds out this extraordinary list. Small, wrinkled, and frankly quite strange looking, the naked mole rat lives up to 10 times longer than other rodents its size. It almost never gets cancer. Its cells resist damage in ways that scientists are still trying to fully understand, and it shows almost no physical decline even in the final stretch of its long life. Now, here is where most people assume the story hits a wall, because surely none of this applies to humans, right? We are far too complex. Our biology is completely different. The gap between a jellyfish and a human being is enormous, but that is exactly what scientists thought before they started looking more closely, and what they found changed the conversation entirely. The genes that control transdifferentiation in Turritopsis dohrnii are not entirely foreign to the human body. Some of the same genetic pathways that allow that jellyfish to reprogram its own cells also exist in human DNA. They are mostly switched off, dormant, but they are there. Researchers at universities across Europe and in Japan have begun mapping exactly how the jellyfish activates these pathways, with the long-term goal of understanding whether similar processes could ever be triggered in human cells. In laboratory settings, scientists have already achieved something remarkable. They have successfully reprogrammed human skin cells back into stem cells, primitive, unspecialized cells that can become almost any other type of cell in the body. The process is not perfect yet. It is not safe enough for medical use, but the fact that it is possible at all is extraordinary. The biological door that everyone assumed was permanently locked is sitting slightly open. The implications for medicine are staggering. Diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and heart disease are fundamentally diseases of aging. They happen because cells break down, malfunction, and stop repairing themselves properly. If scientists could find a way to trigger even a partial version of what Turritopsis dohrnii does naturally, it could mean regenerating damaged tissue, reversing cellular decay, and extending healthy human life in ways that currently exist only in science fiction. We are not there yet. Scientists are careful to say that human immortality is not around the corner. The jump from a jellyfish resetting its cells to a human doing the same is enormous and filled with obstacles we have not solved. But the direction is clear, and the fact that nature already built a working model of biological immortality and that it is swimming in the ocean right now means the question is no longer whether aging can be stopped. The question is how long it takes us to figure out how to do it ourselves. That tiny, transparent jellyfish drifting silently through the sea may turn out to be the most important creature ever discovered, and it has been there the whole time, waiting for us to notice.